But maybe you could tell me, my man, what the fuck are we gonna talk about next time?
X-Men. But only if I want to, because we're talking about whatever we want. Oh, on and on and on and on. My cipher keeps moving like a rolling stone. Oh, on and on and on and on. All night to the break of dawn. Literally just looked it up to make sure that that's what the background singers were saying.
But feeling down the water with $3.06.
Right.
Yeah, you may laugh because you did not do your math.
Think about it. $3, $6, $3.60.
Mm-hmm.
Full circle.
Mm-hmm.
But
what's that got to do with being by the water? Or whatever the hell she said. Yeah, see, I don't know enough. Anyhow.
I mean, maybe if you look at, I was going to say, maybe if you look it up, under Rap Genius, it might tell you, but maybe because you're born by the water and it's 360 because she's going back and we were all like birth of water and then we turned back in to help the earth become, because it's a 360 life. I don't fucking know.
Anyway, this is why I can't be a rapper. That kind of shit goes over my head. Anyhow, hey guys, y'all know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent Big Ugly himself, Omari Ellis feogrande on YouTube, and a man of other names as well, such as Giotavi and the whatnots. And I'm here today for another episode of Whatever We Want, but I can't do it without the gentleman to my left on your screen, the one and only secret identity revealed, Superjaz.
What's going on, y'all? What's poppin'? That's right. As he said, it is your boy Jazz, aka Superjaz. You can call me SJ, JT, whatever you want, what have you in the like. And as he said, this is the Whatever We Want podcast, where we do just that. We talk about whatever we want. As I always say, we do not lead the conversation. The conversation leads us, and we let the chips fall where they may.
Every Wednesday.
Oh,
11 a.m. Eastern.
And if you letting them chips fall where you may, just make sure you got enough chips to keep on betting. Otherwise, get off the table, bro, because more high rolls is coming in and you kind of holding up the stakes. This is high stakes shit. You know what I'm saying? All right, then get the fuck out of the way. Oh shit.
See what I did there?
Was those chips? Because all we saw was Gouda wine chips. Okay.
It said wine chips, and then
they fell where they may.
That's gonna be loud as fuck.
It fell where it may. I mean, July about what you're trying to do. Now, August. I don't know.
I'm curious now. Where are we going with this again? Let's march on, huh?
I could kind of bullshit my way, but September.
August is difficult. Yeah.
August. Think about what I'm trying to do. Like just think, but yeah, I can kind of. September. September.
Anyway, guys, I will start this off this week, and I will start it off in a way I started it off in a similar fashion before and say that I am happy.
There we go. I was hoping it wasn't mad. Okay.
No, nor am I sad. I am happy. Well,
why art thou? Well, real quick, I was going to say, because of how we record these and whatnot, everybody have no fear. This is not going to be an all wrestling episode. And we're not going to talk about Rampage.
Now, wait, look. I am happy had nothing to do with wrestling.
Well, no, I was thinking
Olympics.
that I know. I don't know, but I wasn't saying it because of you. I was saying because of when we were recording this. I was just thinking like before we chose to like record. I was like, yeah, this is not gonna be like last time where it's gonna be an all wrestling episode talking about the shit before or after. Like fucking 2-3 weeks later. Anyway, why are you happy, my friend?
I am happy. Well, similar to the Olympics, it's about something sports related.
But it's not
All
all pro
right,
wrestling.
so correct.
I'm being stupid, bro.
Calm down. Calm down. I'm
like,
not. No, it's not. It's not pro wrestling related. This is about football, American football. So I am from St. Louis, as evidenced by the fact that we said it 80,000 times, and the fact that I'm wearing a St. Louis Battlehawks hat from the XFL. Well, there was this thing called the XFL years ago. It didn't go as well as it should have, and then 20 years later they brought it back, and then a pandemic happened and killed it. The second time around, it had a St. Louis team, and they were the second best team in the league. Of course, when St. Louis finally gets a good football team, the league had to end. We can't have nice things. Anyway, our original football team left some time ago, around 2015-ish, and then I moved on to another team. People might have guessed from the fact that I was wearing a jersey on here for 2 episodes. I'm a Carolina Panthers fan. A big part of the reason I am a fan of the Carolina Panthers, or moved on, or chose the Panthers as my new team, was one individual named Cameron Newton. He got some injuries, though, got a car crash and injured even further. And then we got a new owner, and the new owner's like, I'm new, I'm getting rid of everything good on this team. Fucking best coach we ever had, get him out of here. Best player we ever had, or best quarterback we've ever had. I mean, I say best player. Best quarterback we've ever had, get him out of here. I want a new look. I'm going to get this dude from this coach from college, and I don't know, Teddy Bridgewater. He had 5 good games. Cam, go somewhere else. Cam went to join the Patriots, where he then did not play, where he played well until he got COVID, and then he played bad the rest of the season, and then the Patriots cut him. But Thursday of this week, after Sam Darnold, who is not good, he was bad on the Jets, and he had the benefit of having a terrible coach. And by that I mean Adam Gase was a coach who was so bad that, or a coach who's not good. He ruined the Dolphins, and now he's ruined the Jets. And neither team's been able to recover since. And the Jets ain't gonna, because I think they still have Gase. And if they don't, then good for them. But Ryan Tannehill used to be the quarterback of the Dolphins. He went to Tennessee, got a really amazing running back, and everyone's like, oh, Ryan Tannehill was actually good the whole time. Just Adam Gase made him look bad. So let's take Sam Darnold, who looked even worse than Tannehill did in Miami, and go, well, if he gets out of the Gase umbrella, he'll be amazing like Ryan Tannehill. Okay. And so we had him as our quarterback. Turns out when you're a Jet all the way, and Sam Darnold is actually terrible. And he got injured, and he'll be gone for a few weeks. So our owner decided to do something. He's like, I need to realize that I've made a mistake. He picked up the phone, and he called one Cameron Newton. And now Cameron Newton is back in Carolina, back on the Panthers, where he fucking belongs and shouldn't have left in the first place. So I'm happy about that. Now, I have been on this show numerous times to say that when I am optimistic, it's cautiously so. I am a realist. I'm not going to sit up here and be someone that's like, oh, Cam's going to fix every single fucking problem the Panthers have. No, the Panthers ain't making the playoffs this year, regardless. We got put in way too much of a hole by Sam Darnold. That said, I'm just excited to actually watch some fucking Panthers football again. and very happy about that. And hopefully Cam can play well enough, for the rest of the season to just get his fucking job back as the starting quarterback of the league, of the team.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping. So I'm happy in that regard. And then I became more so happy last night when I looked on Twitter and I saw some news that, while also cautiously optimistic, made me really happy. And this one's not sports related, Jazz.
Oh, okay.
No. I felt, everyone loves a nostalgia feel, something that reminds them of their past, their childhood and stuff. And in your darkest hours, or in my darkest times, not darkest times, but I need to hyperbolize for this, presentation. In my darkest times, and when I'm feeling on a nostalgia low, and I'm like, I need that extra boost of like late 90s kid just watching cartoons and / actually watching the series when I was older and could actually understand the shit going on. Nostalgia. And when I felt like I wasn't gonna get it for anywhere, turns out that someone was gonna give it to me. And that was the X-Men. I wanted to make an X Come Give It To You reference.
No, I know, but I was like,
X-Men,
wait.
The 90s X-Men series is getting a continuation. They announced that yesterday.
Where the fuck did it leave off?
They had done... good news for them, they already did the Phoenix Saga. So they don't have to worry about like every other X-Men cartoon after that got canceled right before they could do the Phoenix Saga. They already did it and did it successively.
They didn't have that many seasons, did they?
4.
Oh, they did? Shit.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Radioactive, like Spider-Man, I think that one only had like a season.
Nah, I had at least 2.
Okay, but I knew it wasn't that many.
Anyway, I'm not as learned on Spider-Man, but I've read / watched a few things involving X-Men. So X-Men cartoon in the 90s, like the 90s cartoon, which the new series they're calling like X-Men 97. I wonder how 97 is gonna be. Apparently, they're bringing back all the living voice actors from that show.
That's dope.
Yeah, apparently Scott died though. The guy that played Scott died. Yeah, I was sad. But the voice a lot of people associate with Wolverine that's not Hugh Jackman. Fucking let's go, bub, blah blah blah. Yeah. That guy's still coming back as Wolverine.
That's dope, man.
Fucking I hope Rogue's still alive. Because 90s Rogue is best Rogue.
Yeah.
90s. Well, she did a lot in the comics too, but I'm just saying 90s Rogue is best Rogue. So I'm looking forward to it. Bottom line. So I was really happy about that. I'm like, how 90s X-Men are you gonna keep it? Because that show definitely a product of its time. But to answer your question about how long the series is, it was about 4 seasons. You had the first season where they were just trying to get off the ground to try to prove to the Fox execs that yes, kids can understand and like X-Men. Believe it or not, the Fox execs did not want to make the 90s X-Men cartoon because they didn't think kids would understand the themes of X-Men and the kids wouldn't like X-Men.
Which is so funny when you think about it, because even if you don't really remember that show too much, everybody kind of like watched a few episodes and enjoyed the episodes they saw. So that's funny.
But I want you to understand how out of touch execs are. Kids don't like superheroes.
In anything. My fucking like rap name, or like what the fuck? And I know I'm not a kid, but the name Superjaz actually came from some shit that I made up. Long story short, I can go into it later, whatever. But it actually came from some shit that I created where it was me versus my brother Ibn, and it was Superjaz versus Ibn Man, and I made a comic. Like, it's got other shit for it, but I made this shit when I was 9. Like, So kids love superheroes. People was fucking
Is that why he was calling himself Ib Man for a while? Because of your Superjaz versus Ibn Man?
God no. He called himself Ib Dude, and no, he wasn't.
There was
It
Ib
was
Man too. There was a slight phase with that as well.
I
I
half
do remember
that,
Ib Man. I was like, is
no.
that the origin of Ib Man?
No.
And now Ib Dude or Ib Guy?
I can go into the whole comic, like I didn't want to like stop your point. I can go into the whole like thing or whatever of Superjaz, but no, like I made the shit when I was 9, and I do like kids don't like superheroes, stupidest shit ever. Because if anyone likes superheroes, it's gonna be children first. Look at the amount of people that the kid says, I want to wear a cape today. Why? Because why the fuck not? Because I should, because I'm a superhero and I'm 7, bitch, and I love superheroes. Look at all of us who liked Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Looking back on it, that was some of the fucking dumbest shit ever, but it was super power like inspired. So to say kids don't like superheroes is the stupidest shit ever. But no, execs in any field don't know what the fuck they talking about. Like, not at all. I don't want to like stop your point before I start going on a whole other like, diatribe down whatever other lane. So before the car steers that way, I'm gonna let you grab the steering wheel for a second.
So yes, they were trying to prove that this could be. They had to prove that X-Men could be a working concept. So now I will say to the full point, because they apparently released a book about making the X-Men '90s cartoon and everything, which I need to read. But I saw an interview involving the writers of, and the book is written by the writers from that '90s cartoon.
That's dope.
And they pulled a fucking Xavier Woods boy before he did, because he's like my age, and pretty much put their careers on the line to be like, we stake our careers on this series. Now, and well, it wasn't just that they don't think kids would like superheroes. They didn't think kids would stick to X-Men because it had actual serious themes in it, racism and the whatnot. And kids don't understand racism.
Yeah, well, you know what? Because again, that happens a lot of times in kid shows and shit like that too, where they're like, "This is too serious for children," and it's like, okay.
Yeah, nowadays you don't have that anymore, where you actually put serious themes in kids' cartoons. They're all stupid Uncle Grandpa ass shit.
But yeah, but no, what I was gonna say was, it's like that happens. Like, this is too serious for kids, and it's like, okay, first off, you had to think about the target audience, because there's a difference between a show that is targeted at 6, 7, 8-year-olds and a show that's targeted at like 3, 4-year-olds. Second of all, 3 and 4-year-olds, if you package it just a little bit of a different way, can still understand these themes, or should probably be introduced to them in a digestible fashion early anyway. Rest in peace, Mr. Rogers.
Also, as someone who didn't understand a lot of themes in a lot of cartoons as a kid, it is at the end of the day a show about people with superpowers that look cool. Because the '90s X-Men designs are some of the best X-Men designs the X-Men have looked at ever. Like the Jim Lee X-Men designs are fucking godlike. So it was going to appeal to kids, but they were like, darker tones and stuff. But the first season just was kind of introduction to X-Men, and if you want darker tones, let's create a character just so we can kill him in the second episode. Or kill him technically at the end of the first episode, but they don't tell you he dies till the second episode. Because Morph was created for that series. Hilarious. Just so he could fucking die. Just so he could be the cartoon's version of Thunderbird.
and introduce like death to the kids.
Yeah, no, see guys, there is consequences. Only for Morph to come back later and be like, actually, consequences don't actually exist. But that goes over here.
You in this
so yes. But the first season was kind of just introducing stuff. It had a plot to it, in the sense that Beast was in jail and he decided to make his trial also kind of stand up, for mutant kind and stuff like that, with the pacifistic nature of it. He's like, I could break out of here. And Magneto, I think, even tried to break him out, because he's like, they kept one of our mutant brothers in jail. I don't like the X-Men, but I'm breaking you out. He's like, I'll sit here and read a book. Thank you. Thank you for your thing, but I don't need to be broken out. I'm going to court, and I'm just going to show this. If I break out of prison, I just prove them right. But that's pretty much the first thing was the first season was kind of episodic with a little bit of an ongoing like plot through it while you introduce us to all of these characters. The second season is where they were like, okay, we got the green light to actually do this fucking series. Now let's work on incorporating stuff from the comics as well as building upon our own universe that we established in the first season. Mm-hmm. And, work some facts in here. Let's go ahead and mention that, yes, this group of X-Men aren't the original 5 X-Men. There were 5 original X-Men, Warren and Bobby do actually exist. They're just doing their own thing now. Which I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. They like had cameos like back in the day. We actually used to just be the 5, blah, blah, blah. So they brought in a lot more comic stuff, and they also had their own overarching things with Magneto and Mr. Sinister and a bunch of stuff in the second season. The third season was Phoenix Saga. It is the only good reinterpretation of the Phoenix Saga out there because within the ground rules that they set for their own little universe, because obviously they weren't exactly like the comics, but they also kept all the key points from the comic series and the slow burn of Jean going from normal Jean to Dark Phoenix, having the Phoenix Force be like, yeah, all that shit. It was actually good, and a lot of the key points from the original Phoenix Saga were in the 90s cartoon. Is it exactly a one-to-one thing, interpretation? No. Did it actually do the saga justice? Yes. And that was season 3. Season 4, they started to lose their budget because Fox is stupid. That's why they're owned by the mouse now. They don't know how to do things right.
They're owned by Disney. Fuck.
Where's my money?
I'm just saying everything is fucking owned by Disney now.
Anyway, so they had to send the animation studio to Malaysia for half of the episodes. Everybody started looking weird, and that was pretty much the death knell for the content because they dropped in a lot of quality because they didn't have a lot of budget for it. Also, some of the voice actors had to be replaced for some of the episodes. It was curtains. Another thing that did help them during that first season with the whole, oh wait, kids can actually kind of like dark things was the around the same time the Batman animated cartoon from the 90s came out.
That show about so dark. Iconic.
Yeah, and apparently they had a friendly competition between the two shows. Like the writers of the two shows had a friendly competition. Oh, we got to do better than them. We got to do better than them. But keep it our own way. And then Spider-Man got to benefit from all that stuff because Marvel really likes making in movie form or TV form or whatever form that yes, all our heroes live in the same fucking world.
Yeah.
Before the MCU, they were doing that shit with a lot of the cartoons, and they're like, no, see, here's this. Fucking Captain America had even a cameo in X-Men Evolution. It was Wolverine had a flashback to World War II when he worked with Captain America.
Oh, that's funny. But it makes sense that it could happen. That's funny, though.
With how old both of them technically are.
Right. Right.
But I'm looking forward to it. I wonder but that show was very much a product of its time.
Well, it's
the lingo and everything. I'll drop my hands. Not lasers. Fucking Jubilee. 90s kids to the fucking.
I'm saying it just kind of has there's just serious broad strokes of old school 90s, like you said, just all over that shit. Mm-hmm. Just the fucking look of them, as cool as the designs look, based on how everything changed over the time, where shit got more modern over time as we got further into the 2000s and all that shit, and then even after in the 2010s where the designs of everything got sharper.
All right, I will say that the cartoon, I will say the costume designs for the adult X-Men are timeless. They were cool. I don't care. They're not. Oh, that's some. You had to live in the '90s to think that looked good. Shit. No, the costumes were godlike. The one character I'll give you that whole. Oh, you had to be in the '90s to think that looked cool was Jubilee and her fucking bright yellow trench coat with the pink shirt and blue shorts.
The coat and the gloves and the glasses for Jubilee very much look old as shit. No, shit. Jubilee looked more '80s than '90s, really.
Also true, right. But you get my point. Like that is definitely a mark of like, okay, is that old? The other designs, they look cool regardless.
Well, no, this is what I mean when I say what I said. I mean that the designs and drawings and everything look dope, but because of how the comic, like kind of typical comic look changed over time, they don't look like everything now. That's what I mean. If you understand what I'm saying when I say that type of shit, because those drawings, like you said, like, you know, the classic Cyclops with the blue and the yellow, and then like Wolverine with the blue and the yellow and the mask with like red and shit, and like all that stuff. It's like classic shit, but compared to how the comics look now, it doesn't look. It
as good. Looks like the nowadays don't look as good as the '90s. I'll say it.
It looks like it's from a different decade is what I was going to get at. Gotcha. Yeah. That's what I mean.
Gotcha. But the attitude for everybody was also a thing. Just some of the stuff they said, like even Scott being corny and shit with the, sure, I'll surrender. Not.
Yeah.
There's an Honest Trailers X-Men cartoon, I think. And they talk about it, and they're like, and I think that is one of the lines there. And after rewatching, I was like, yeah, it is very much a product of its time, especially Jubilee. But yes, she is more of an '80s thing than a '90s thing because she was introduced in the '80s and has had that design since the '80s. So you are correct. But to be fair to Wolverine and his like outfit, he's been wearing the yellow and blue since he debuted. Like right. He had that orange and brown or whatever outfit, but that was technically a second outfit that he changed because why not? Like story reasons, they're like, why you got a new outfit, old Wolverine? Why not? Okay.
Everybody go fucking argue Wolverine, that fucking bad motherfucker.
You didn't tell us you knew Japanese Wolverine. You never asked. Oh, all right. I was something I did not realize, because I was talking to my friends about like Wolverine and stuff like that, and I was talking about the origins of like the name Shadowcat and all that stuff in X-Men, and I was talking about like how Kitty went on a trip with Wolverine to Japan because he was doing some Wolverine shit. And I was telling them, I was like, look, and they were like, haha, doing some Wolverine shit. I'm like, yes, that's what he does. He takes random breaks from the X-Men to go do Wolverine shit. And if he's going on a break to do Wolverine shit, he's going to one of like 3 places. Yeah, he's either going to Japan, Canada, or Madripoor. What's Madripoor? What's Madripoor? Technically, where is it? In Asia. What is Madripoor? It is a place made up for Wolverine to go to do Wolverine shit. It is literally a place that was created for Wolverine to go do Wolverine shit.
What the fuck?
Actually, technically, it debuted in New Mutants, but it's very much X-Men related. And it definitely became Wolverine's non-X-Men related stomping grounds things for like his side series, where he spent numerous times there as his alternate identity, Patch. A dude who looks like Wolverine with an eye patch, but not wearing like the costume. But he's still very much Wolverine, like the hair and everything. He just got an eye patch and he tries not to use his claws. He's just in Madripoor. They don't know who he actually is, or not everybody. They just know Patch ain't that dude you should fuck with. And of course, I like, why shouldn't you fuck with him? Just don't fuck with Patch. And if you do fuck with him, you find out, oh, I probably shouldn't have fucked with him because it turns out he's actually Wolf-a-fucking-Reen. No, I'm not gonna fucking like this guy. Because even if he's not using his claws, his skeleton's made out of fucking metal, and he can heal from anything that you're doing. So, and he's ripped to shit because of course he is. He's gonna beat the shit out of you.
That's why they call his like, you talk about names, like some of the origins of the names. His origin isn't really hard to figure out why they came up with that one.
Because he's short and he'll fight anybody.
Short, buff as fuck, and like
he will run them fucking hands with anybody. Because he's short as shit, and he's got the whole short thing. But as far as I mentioned the origins of the name Shadowcat, because when she first, Kitty Pryde, the original Wolverine little girl sidekick, I know we were just talking about Jubilee, one of the more iconic Wolverine little girl sidekicks. Wolverine had a lot of younger women that were his sidekicks throughout the series. The first time they did it, though, was with Kitty, because they tried to use her to like help, humanize Wolverine and be like, oh, he has a soft side for the youth. You know what I mean? But he went on a trip with Kitty to Japan, because when she first joined the X-Men, Charles wanted to have her code name be Ariel. She's like, I don't like that name. Can I be called Sprite or something instead? I forget if she said Sprite or Storm suggested Sprite, but Charles is like, I guess if you're happy with Sprite, be Sprite, I guess. Like she was Ariel all of her.
Named after a soft drink. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh. So she was a Sprite, and eventually she went to like 2 years within the universe. Later, she goes to Japan with Wolverine, and because he's like, I gotta go do some Wolverine shit. So he goes to Japan. While he's doing his Wolverine shit, she gets kidnapped by one of his she gets wrapped up in his Wolverine shit. His like old master like possessed somebody, like his old like samurai ninja master dude, like takes control of her, brainwashes her, teaches her ninja shit, and like makes her like fight him and stuff. Eventually she snaps back to like normal, but she's still like on a trip with Wolverine over there, and she starts having like a bit of, not necessarily identity crisis, but she is becoming way more of a teenager and stuff. And so she's like sitting on a train at one point, and she's like, yeah, my life's changed a lot in 2 years. In the past 2 years, I've done more living than most kids my age and stuff like that. I'm practically an adult. I've been to like the edge of space and shit and all of this shit at this point. And she's like, I'm not a kitty anymore. I'm a cat. A cat that strikes from the shadows because I'm a ninja.
I feel like you told me this on another episode.
I'm a shadow cat.
That's kind of like...
It's lame, but also... When I first saw that, I was like, that's how the name Shadow Cat came to be.
The name is better than like the reason.
It's silly, but it also did kind of make sense from the mind of the teenager that's choosing this name. Like, yeah, I get it. She's a cat. Yeah, she's older than just a kitty. Like I always did the correlation of Shadow Cat, Kitty, Pride, but the whole it's because I went and got ninja training and I'm more mature than I was when I entered this series.
That's such a comic moment too, because sometimes comics will have little like dumbass soliloquies like that. Sometimes they will, where they'll be like, I like, and they'll have the thought bubbles of them sitting there when she probably like sitting there like on the stone block.
Like she's in what you call it? She's on a subway.
Okay.
In Japan.
She's sitting there. There's the thought bubbles will be like, I'm no longer, and you'll be reading, I'm no longer a kitty. I'm a cat. And it's like all these bubbles. It'll take up like a fucking like a whole like page and a half with a few panels of her having this whole fucking like figure myself out like moment, and it's like a side to herself, and it's just like really comics do that shit sometimes.
Now though. I don't remember the exact words, but that was the gist of her inner soliloquy on the train. Mm-hmm. Was I'm not a kitty anymore. I'm a shadow cat. Now to be fair, as she did get older, I think she did stop going by kitty. For the most part, she's like, no, just call me Catherine or Cat. Come on now, I'm an adult. Which is funny because a lot of... Yeah, Catherine Pride. And a lot of alternate futures and stuff in the 90s that like had her growing up, like the Age of Apocalypse. Kitty was a grown woman and she was Catherine Pride. And she had her own little like prosthetic like attachments that were like Wolverine claws, kind of a shout out to the fact that she was like raised and trained by Wolverine. So I thought that was cool. Like they don't let you forget that Kitty is that original sidekick, And I was like, yeah, Wolverine's had a lot of sidekicks. Obviously, the most iconic ones are fucking Jubilee and what's her name? X-23.
Yeah.
But
Later on,
Rogue
definitely.
at one point was a
Okay.
semi sidekick to him because even though she wasn't a little girl, she was like technically 18 when she joined the X-Men, but compared to Wolverine, that's a little girl.
Hmm.
There's this other chick that they tried with Pixie. I know they were I saw an article about them trying to make her a sidekick in the mid to late early decade of the 2000s. I don't know what to call that decade. The zeros, in the mid to late zeros.
People call me the 2000s, or some people
Well,
call
this
them
is
the
all the
naughty.
2000s.
Well, technically, like if you talk about the early 2000s, the mid 2000s, the late 2000s, people know you mean 2000 to '09. So,
Fair. I'm like, this is all we're all in the early
I know I
2000s.
felt the same way. Or some people call it the naughties, but yeah,
Aughts.
right, because
That's
it's the
where
aughts.
naughty came
Yeah,
from.
yeah, exactly.
Because
Right.
aught. Anyway, another one is Hisako. She's a Japanese girl, also known as Armor. She makes like psionic armor and stuff. She was more successful as a Wolverine sidekick than Pixie was. I think they wanted to do that with Nojiko as well, a chick named Surge. She had electricity powers. That didn't catch on. I think even Pixie did better than Nojiko in that role. Even though I liked Nojiko, but I'm a sucker for electricity powers. And then there's others as well. Bottom line is Wolverine's had a lot of sidekicks. And they're like, let's have Wolverine have this as a sidekick. And generally those sidekicks go on to be pretty cool characters. Like I like Kitty, I like Hisako, I like Jubilee, I like X-23 and stuff. Although X-23 has the whole Harley Quinn asterisk to her where she wasn't created in the
She's
comics
made for like a
for a
what?
cartoon.
I was saying, what show was she made for?
Evolution.
Really?
Yeah, they
Mm-hmm.
came up with X-23 during X-Men Evolution, and people liked the idea and the concept enough that they made it into the comics, and now
I
she's a
did not
canon comic
know
book
that.
character. Same
I
thing
knew
with
she
Harley
came.
Quinn with
I knew
Batman
that.
in the '90s series.
I knew that. I thought that X-23. I knew she came later. Like I knew she came within the 2000s, but I thought that she was just in the 2000 comics. I didn't know because I watched. We watched X-Men Evolution a lot. I didn't see every episode, obviously,
I
but
have.
we watched X-Men Evolution a lot. I don't remember X-23 in their show.
She was
So,
made for like an episode or two, and I think she
hmm,
might have made a cameo later on to be like, remember, this is that girl Wolverine met. But yeah, she was literally created for X Men Evolution to be
did not
like a
know that.
one off character or something, kind of like Harley Quinn and Batman. And it's like, oh no, we got
Yeah,
something here.
definitely knew that
Obviously,
about
Harley
Harley.
Quinn became a much bigger part of the 90s cartoon.
Big ass icon. Like still to this day, Harley Quinn, like fucking in everything. Harley Quinn comes up in she comes up in the show. So then they adapt her to the comics, and then now you got fucking
Movies
Margot
about her.
Robbie. Margot Robbie's played her a few times. One in a movie that was just her own shit. She's
Mm-hmm.
been in fucking like numerous video games, like Injustice, all kind of stuff like that. Like, no, Harley
Oh, she's
Quinn,
a fucking staple.
yes. Which is funny when you think about the whole that she showed up just like initially in the show to be a one-off in like maybe one or two episodes, and that be it. Just to be like, hey, the Joker had him a woman at one point, and
Or
it's
more
like,
like, it ain't even so much the Joker had him a woman at one point. It's like, look how much of an asshole the Joker is.
basically, yeah, because she got treated like shiz it.
Well,
Like,
he drove her
mm-hmm,
crazy and manipulated her into that
yeah,
under the guise that he was like seeking therapy, but he ended up warping the mind of the therapist.
because she was very much like straight laced, like about business. Okay, let's help you, Mr. Joker.
Yeah,
Dr.
Harleen
Harley
Quinzel.
Quinzel. Yeah. And like you said, and then he slowly like manipulated the fuck out of her brain, and then next thing you know, now she's all fucking cookie and shit. But she still has flashes of humanity, like often, which is
Well,
why
it's because
like
there was a thing like some time ago. I don't know the exact year because I don't pay nearly as much attention to DC as I do to Marvel, and even with Marvel, it's mainly X-Men related stuff. They were like, let's make Harley Quinn a good guy because of how popular she is, and because the Joker's an asshole. And so that's why you get the whole humanizing thing. We got to make Harley a good guy.
Yeah, she's very anti-hero.
Mm.
What was I gonna say? So okay, who would win, right? Who would win? Dark Phoenix versus Ultra Instinct Goku. I don't know enough about X-Men to fully say so.
Which Dark Phoenix?
You tell me, how about that?
I'll just for the sake of argument, let's just go Jean. That's the most. That's the most. That's the one most associated with the Phoenix Force. Let's be honest. That said, I really want to say Jean.
Mm-hmm.
But Ultra Instinct Goku and his auto dodging thing, I'm not sure.
That's almost a cheat code, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I know normal Goku. Because here's the thing, though. Jean can literally especially Dark Phoenix Jean, can literally atomize you with a thought. But can Ultra Instinct, you don't think. You just act in reaction to things. So, are you moving faster than thought? You know what I mean?
Damn. That's some heavy shit. It's also some super nerdy shit. I love it.
So,
that's some heavy shit.
I will say this because I was also telling my friends last night.
Are you
9 times out of 10, if you're a tele whatever for your mutant powers, you're probably one of the most broken people in the X-Men.
Ultimate trump card, yeah.
Whether you're telepathic like Charles or whether you're the epitome of telepathy like Charles or the epitome of telekinesis like everybody else, they want to be like, yeah, they're technically stronger than Charles. Because telekinesis, boy, we I know we mentioned that before. I'm like, no, telekinesis can make you really fucking stupidly overpowered. And Jean is Jean / the Phoenix Force is the epitome of telekinesis in the Marvel universe. Also, I'll put it this way for Dark Phoenix, Galactus. You know who Galactus is, right? You heard of Galactus?
Of, world, yeah.
Exactly. Galactus is a big bad. Is one of the big bad threats in the Marvel universe throughout the galaxies and stuff because he literally eats planets, mainly to survive. Because he needs that. That's the kind of energy, that's the kind of sustenance he needs to survive. Galactus eats planets. Dark Phoenix eats stars.
Okay, that's funny. Yeah.
So I want to say Jean.
Right.
I don't think it's free, but I want to say Jean.
Like I said, I don't know enough about Dark Phoenix.
And when I say that, I'm not just saying that to hyperbole analogy. No, she fucking ate a star.
Right. I was saying my instinct
and that
is
was
to go and say UI Goku, but
and that was just 70s Dark Phoenix, or that was just 80s Dark Phoenix that ate a star. Like literally the original Dark Phoenix saga. Like, cause she goes all crazy and she's like, fuck everything, goes into space. Because she's like, fuck y'all, I'm going to space. Flying around space, just doing Jean shit, I guess. Just being, haha, look at me, Firebird, crazy. And then she's like, oh shit, I'm low on energy. Oh shit, is that a star? Lands on the fucking star, protecting herself with telekinesis, sure. Telekinetic bubble so she don't burn. Sucks up all the energy for the star. Fucking causes a fucking, supernova explosion and she's just flying away. It's like,
is that where the whole in the Marvel game, is that where the whole healing shield shit came from?
Maybe.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Maybe. I don't know. She can heal. If you think about all the stuff, if she could take people apart telekinetically, She could probably put herself back together telekinetically.
Do you know what I'm talking about in the game though?
Yes, but I don't
Healing
know. I
bubble
can't.
thing. Okay.
I can't think of a specific comic where she's like, "I'm going to cast a healing sphere around myself." But at the
Right.
same
That's what I'm
time,
saying.
it's
That
within the realm of shit she could do because she can definitely make shields around herself and do stuff. I think they also just wanted a mechanic because they were like, we need to nerf her somehow, so let's have her constantly lose health. But at the same time, we want her to stay somewhat a threat, so we'll give her
Right.
this healing super so that, and she still was one of the best characters in the game.
For y'all who do not know what we're talking about, which might be a good majority of the watchers and listeners, no, Marvel versus Capcom 3 definitely, and like a few
It's
after.
3.
Okay, I didn't know if it was in 2, but I knew it was in 3. So
Gene was not into.
Okay. But yeah, so you can play as Jean Grey as Phoenix, and she's not the strongest character beforehand. But if you go ahead and you get enough of your super bars, like full when she dies, okay, you gonna correct me.
Well, I'll just say regardless, she has low health, but she's still a pretty solid character. She just is kind of squishy. However, if she dies and she has 5 bars of super, which is maxed out super. If she dies with 5 bars of super, she then activates immediately, and she's like, "I can't control it. Dark Phoenix rises!" And which I made that joke a few videos back when Jazz was talking about Dark Knight Rises, and I went, "Batman can't control it. Dark Knight Rises." And so that's what that was a reference to. Yeah. So she gets full health. All her damage goes way through the roof. She can teleport like off of just about anything, and she can like delete teams. Especially because but she has a drawback. When she goes Dark Phoenix, yes, she gets her health full, but then it starts draining back to zero.
Slowly drains. Actually, pretty quickly.
It drains pretty quickly. And however, she has 2 things that can offset it. One, the healing field super, where she casts healing field, and if she's close to you, her health will fill back up to a certain point. Because when you get hit, you take damage. You have green health bars. You get hit, they go down. Sometimes there's a little bit of red left. That red left can be healed by stuff. And so she heals back whatever red health she has during that. And the natural draining always leaves red health. The draining over time leaves red health that can be healed. So her healing field does that. However, and if that was all she had, okay. She's still really strong and stuff. But Marvel vs. Capcom 3 has a mechanic called X Factor.
Yep.
And when you're dealing with the X Factor, you're like, well, I got everything I ever wanted, and I'll never get that back. Oh, I know you hate X Factor, but you ain't gotta look at me like that. Anyway, so they X Factor, pretty much it's a mechanic to help people like come back / make better combos and stuff, but it generally gives you a damage boost as well as it heals your red health while you're in X Factor. And based on
anybody, does that for anyone.
And that's for everybody. That's why it's the X Factor, because you can change a match just by using it. And it's even stronger based on how many characters you have left alive. If you have 3 characters left alive, it's all right. You can still probably use it mid combo or you can definitely use it mid combo to delete a character on the enemy's team pretty simply with a long combo. If you have 2 characters back, it's slightly stronger. If you have level 3 X Factor, it's really stupid. And fucking Dark Phoenix Jean deletes teams because she does so much damage. Her health practically doesn't drop at all when she's in fucking X Factor. And she's just literally just, right, forward, dead. Kill somebody, she sets up like little traps on the thing, just bop, bop, bop. Enemy comes in, like tags in after, the player dies, and she like teleports, the traps go off, and you better hope you blocked it in time or your character dies instantly. And if they don't die instantly because they have like their Thor or somebody with like extra health, although why would you have Anchor Thor? They will then get comboed and die anyway.
Watching like professional fighting game tournament play where Phoenix was like Dark Phoenix was a factor within those because it would be 3-on-3 teams and people would be doing that. And a lot of people would have Phoenix be the last character where she would start off like kind of weak, but they would be trying to save her to the end and save the X Factor and then save the supers so they could go ahead and do that like ultimate like the ultimate anchor to like, end up fighting the teams and whatnot and shit like that. And watching the tournament play of professional versus professionals who train and like all they do is play these fighting games, and that being in the tuck for a lot of teams where it would turn out that they forewent the X Factor, they forewent the supers, and they kept one of the weakest characters for the end, hoping she would turn into the strongest, would be some of the most exciting fighting games.
I have to look again.
Like matches to see. It'd be some of the most exciting shit. Because the tides would turn on a dime. And that shit was so exciting to watch. What are you gonna say, man?
I'm trying to remember whether or not F Champ won Evo. If F Champ won Evo, then there were 7 fucking Evos that had Marvel vs. Capcom 3 in some form.
You know you hold up 8 fingers.
Whatever. There was this is what I was doing before, but holding the hand up.
7 that had F Champ.
Now I need to know if F Champ won. However, of at least the 6 that I can know for sure, yeah, F Champ had to have won. So of the 7 Evos that there were for Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and this is off the top of my head without researching, I can always have the editor put the correction and call me an idiot or whatever. Yeah. Hey, you're doing the actual work around here. Just kidding. You don't do shit. The 7 things. The 3 of the teams that won Evo, there were no repeat champions of Evo, like player-wise. No one repeated Marvel 3 as champion, but Phoenix was on 3 of those teams. And I don't...
Evo's the biggest fighting game tournament.
Yes.
Well, no, is it CEO or Evo?
Evo.
Okay, Evo is the biggest fighting game tournament within the fighting game like community.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yes, it's worldwide. Thousands and thousands of people go there. It's in Vegas. They can afford to be in Vegas at the fucking what's the name of that place? It's one of the hotels, one of the big hotels.
But MGM Grand is a big one.
No,
I doubt it's that one.
No, it's not MGM Grand. I forget the name off the top of my head. It's a hotel that has its own fucking like little mini arena and stuff in it. But yeah, no, cause let's see, Viscant won the first one with a Phoenix team. It was Phoenix, Wesker, somebody else, and Viscant won. Mainly with Phoenix. He never won. I don't even know if he top 8'd any of the other Evos after Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 because they slightly nerfed Phoenix. F Champ, I'm fairly positive, won Evo. And he had Phoenix on his team. He also had Magneto and somebody else. I want to say Phoenix, Magneto, doesn't fucking matter. And then the last Evo champion had Ryan LV, a guy who literally showed up like the last year as a dominant force.
I never heard that guy.
He won. Yeah, he was from Vegas, ironically, hence the LV. Ryan LV, he had like a team of Morrigan, Chun-Li, Phoenix, which was way more annoying than it had any business being but especially because it had fucking Morrigan and Phoenix on it. Morrigan was annoying because if she had meter, she could clone herself and fill the screen with fireballs. And was really annoying to fight against. Phoenix is Phoenix. Where Chun-Li comes in is she had the ability to build meter really well, and she had an infinite. Despite not being good, If she could hit you with the infinite, congratulations. He has his 5 bars for Morrigan and Phoenix to use forever. Also, Morrigan had an assist that could help you build meter. So if he's just like moving around the screen, running away with Chun-Li to build meter with Morrigan so that he could either fill the screen with fireballs or you somehow killed them and now, oh look, I got Phoenix and win anyway. There you go. The other champs being fucking Justin Wong, Chris G, Flocker, and I'm pretty sure Kane Blue River as well. And Kane Blue River was hype because Kane Blue River did it with fucking Hulk, Sentinel, and Haggard.
Yeah,
he was one of the 2 Hulk, Sentinel, Haggard players that I knew in that game.
I remember that shit. What was I gonna say? But no, for y'all who don't know, because we fighting game community slang. Infinite means that basically most of the time when you do a combo, eventually the moves finish and then your opponent drops out of it. But an infinite is that you can consistently, until the opponent dies, just keep hitting these buttons and they will never fall out of this combo. So yeah, that is what an infinite is. So that's what he's saying, where Chun-Li could basically get the opponent back into a corner, or maybe not even a corner for that matter, and then just constantly loop hitting them, and you can't necessarily do too much to get out of this shit. You got to find other ways around it, except for waiting for Chun-Li to stop, because she won't. But speaking of stopping, unless you're looking something up,
I am.
As you were going to add to the combo.
I am. I just want to make sure that all right, Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So yeah, Viscant, F Champ, Flocker, Justin, Kane Blue River. All right, so yeah, no, it was 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That one, yeah. So I was right. Of the 7, there were 3 Phoenixes. I'm not sure if Flocker used Phoenix or not. I know Flocker won with 0. His own thing. He practically had it. He didn't have an infinite, but he might as well had.
Them Phoenix, like saving Phoenix to the end matches used to be some of the most exciting shit, because the way the tide would turn and how people would try to like eliminate it because they knew what was coming. That'd be some of the most exciting shit to watch. But speaking of things that are exciting to watch, hopefully this show is exciting for y'all to watch and or listen to. And that being said, well, let me just say and listen to, not or listen to. I don't fucking know. Hopefully this show is exciting for you all as viewers and listeners. And that being said, if you want to keep that excitement train rolling along and you want to follow us separately, then you can go ahead and look me up. I have a Facebook page that is under Superjaz, which is all one word, and that would be spelled Superjaz. You can go ahead and check that out and give me a like on Facebook. If you want to follow me on my Twitter, then you can go ahead and look that up, and that is Superjaz2. So that would be Superjaz with the number 2. And you can also go ahead and follow me on my Instagram, which is Forever Superjaz, the word forever spelled correctly. As we've talked about several times in a lot of these shows, I am an MC from time to time. So if you want to hear me get my rap on, you can go ahead and check out the debut solo album, My Secret Identity, which dropped on the 1st of October. And that would be anywhere that you stream your music. And that is the words, My Secret Identity. You may have to put Superjaz in the search somewhere because I'm not that famous yet. All right, my dear friend, what if they want to find you? What do they do?
You can find me here every Wednesday. Like I said earlier, you can also find me on my own YouTube channel, YouTube/feogrande, F-E-O-Grande. I'm also on Twitter at twitter.tv, or on Twitter at Giotavi, Giotavi. I have a Twitch of the same handle. The Twitter often tweets out when I am streaming. Come and check it out. I'm doing a lot of fighting games in November, though, because I'm getting ready for CEO.
Dopeness.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I forgot to do this whole episode before we close out. Don't roll your eyes, bitch. Fuck
I
you.
didn't. I closed them and just said fair. That is fair.
All right. With that being said, we appreciate that you all indulged us in another hour of your time. And basically, I'm getting a little tongue tied because I'm actually somewhat forgetting. Like I always forget. You'd think by this time, fucking this many episodes in, I'd remember. But maybe you can help me.
What's up, buddy?
Fuck are we gonna talk about next time?
I don't fucking know. Oh wait, whatever we want.
Be nice to yourself, everybody.
Adiosness.
It been cold me.